Aunty Kim，你今天的运动哦，你需要做100次。
妈呀，不能啊，有骨痛哦。
Miss Tan, I'm very curious. Why is my grandmother required to do that simple exercise over and over again and at an intensity of 100 repetitions? Isn't it too much?
This is very often seen in neurological rehabilitation. These exercises prescribed is aimed to improve the brain process named as neuroplasticity.
Let me break it down for you. Neuroplasticity is a big word, but if we break up the term, neuro represents the brain and nervous system, which transmits signals throughout the body and controls each system respectively. Whereas plasticity, which originates from the Greek word plastos, means moldable. In short, this means a moldable brain. It was first introduced in 1906 by an Italian psychiatrist, Ernesto Lugaro. The term was used to describe how the brain changes throughout life to adapt, learn, and recover from brain injury. The brain does this by reorganizing itself via the formation of new neural connections. Neurons in the brain compensate for injury and disease by adjusting their activities in response to new situations. This brings us to the importance of neuroplasticity in the rehabilitation of both neurology and sports injuries. In the recovery from stroke or a traumatic brain injury, where brain tissues die as a result of a lack of blood flow to the brain or due to a traumatic injury, rehabilitation aims to stimulate neuroplasticity. This ability to stimulate growth of new nerve cells over a period of time and rewire functions in the brain allows regain of movement and activities of daily living. Injured tissues that have recovered tend to lack in strength, control, and skills depending on its severity. This can be regained via frequent activation of the movement, which strengthens the connection of neurons, allowing better motor control. Repetitive practice is vital as it allows motor pathways to be well developed so that less neuron organization with muscles is needed to perform a skill which was previously unaccustomed to. Neuroplasticity works similarly in sports rehabilitation and athlete training. In most sporting competitions, athletes are at a disadvantage if they need to think before moving. Therefore, quick, coordinated movements need to be ingrained, eventually creating what we commonly know today as muscle memory. So, how does neuroplasticity happen? Out of the 10 principles of neuroplasticity, we will be focusing on 3 today. First, use it or lose it. Research has found that those who lose a sensory function shows that unused neural circuits are reassigned to another part of the sensory or motor cortex. This means that the less one uses a part of their bodily structure, the less function it will eventually produce. After some time, neurons in this area will be directed elsewhere and function will be lost. For example, if one has a stroke and avoids using the affected arm, it will only get weaker and one day completely lose function. Similarly, for an athlete who had an injury, regaining function of the injured area as soon as possible is vital. Second, repetition matters. This principle fits with the 10,000-hour rule that has been suggested by many for a long time, that if you want to master something, put the hours in. Similarly, higher dosages of training or rehabilitation is required to learn or relearn tasks to gain long-lasting neural changes in the cerebral cortex. Practice makes perfect, and this applies for both a normal and injured brain. The more you perform a movement, the less difficult it becomes. Third, specificity. A stroke patient requires gait training. A football athlete with an ACL injury requires to return to football. With different goals in mind, rehabilitation is also planned differently. The brain refines a movement after each repetition and creates cortical changes. Hence, it is vital that specific functional movements are integrated into each program. Other principles include Use it and improve it. Intensity matters. Time matters. Salience matters. Age matters. Transference and interference, which are explained in further details on our website blog post.
So, Miss Chris, hopefully I answered all your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Tan.
Ayo, Chris ada sorry,
Bye-bye.